was quite a happy hour we did last night.
Oh, heavens. Oh, when we do the happy hour on Thursday night, it's a little bit of a tough sled on Friday morning.
Tough slog?
Sled. It's a tough sled.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got to get the happy hour video cast because I know I'm right about everything, but is Maylee's dog a bigger whore than she is? I think so. Are we charging extra credits for the dog porn on camera yesterday? Because literally, her dog was, Max and Fred's
quite a few mounts.
Head.
On camera.
On camera. Right behind her.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm eating leftover happy hour pizza, and I am still
drunk. Yes.
All right. However, we have a big Friday show. We have Tina Dupuis. She has a great piece about Ebola hysteria, etc. Horror journalist Maylee at some point will stagger in here. I think did we get three? We got 3 swear words out of Maylee.
We did.
We finally dragged her down to our level.
But she was very upset that you used one particular swear word.
Yes, and I kept doing it.
I know, and you're going to have to get the podcast, the Happy Hour podcast, to find out.
Go to StephanieMiller.com.
There you go.
All right. She knows better. She knows me better than to say, this really bothers me, don't do it, because she knows that I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yep.
Because I'm irritating that way. All right, so
you're like the girl in the back of the class. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
I dare you.
Do it.
Okay. So all of that. So Maylee, you're here in, hopefully by hour number 3. She might even stagger in earlier.
Oh, good.
All right. So 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Look who's here right out of the box.
Carl.
Carl Frisch. WholeFightStrategies.com. Good morning, Carl Frisch.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm swell, although I was on a Frontier Airlines flight, so I've self-quarantined.
Oh, that's what you kind of have to fly to Denver, don't you?
Well, I mean, apparently there are other airlines that do it.
Yeah.
But those airlines, throw in things for free, like picking your own seat.
Carl, scamp that you are, I can never tell if you're kidding. Were you on a Frontier Airlines flight, seriously?
I was, and I had no idea. So when I returned back to D.C., the morning I got to the airport, the rumor had it that Frontier had recirculated the plane that had carried the Ebola patient.
Oh,
yes.
Boy.
And the rumor was that the reason they canceled the next flight to D.C. was because that was the plane and they had to do some more stuff to it. So these are all the wonderful things that you want to think about before flying
right.
in
Ebola Airlines
airplane
yeah.
4 hours.
Yeah, that's, a lot of people are, there was a piece in the New York Times, I don't know if you saw it, but that, that's actually, experts are saying that's almost a bigger fear is the hysteria.
Right. The panic.
Right. A tipping point into mass hysteria. And they were comparing it to, the anthrax scare. Remember after 9/11? Like every time there was white powder anywhere, you're like, oh, okay, it's artificial sweetener.
I just remember after 9/11, the story of this woman out in, Wyoming who burnt her house down. Because she had microwaved her mail. She had heard on television that if you that anthrax couldn't survive in a microwave. And so her logical thought was, Tom Daschle, the President of the United States, I must be next.
Yeah, I love the screenwriter of Contagions said the Ebola fears are inflated. He's like, look, I wrote fiction, and this is getting ridiculous now. Like, everybody calm down.
But Contagion was one of the most scientific-based
well, that's what he's saying. Right.
Ever about disease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't, it's pretty easy to spread hysteria when one party's doing it for politics.
Yeah, exactly.
He said in his experience researching for the thriller, he found that researchers are more concerned about the media scaring people than the science of fighting the disease. And that's exactly, as usual, the media always makes it worse, right?
Well, the super sad thing is if you just peel back a couple layers of Internet, you'll find conservatives who are parroting the language of our Republican politicians about how we should just close off the country and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Then you dig a little further, and that's when they really let you know what they think.
Right.
This is the stuff that we all know they think about President Obama, for example, but they won't say it out loud because it'll hurt them politically. Well, they're willing to say it about this.
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised that they've obviously politicized absolutely everything up until now. Tina Dupuis, our friend, writes a great piece about this today. But, I mean, the fact remains, so now that, I guess the president's like, okay, we'll have an Ebola czar. Well, guess what an Ebola czar is? A surgeon general that they won't confirm because they won't confirm anyone the president nominates, right?
You shouldn't have talked about guns being a health problem, Stephanie.
Yes, right. And I was just going to say, but how ironic is that, Carl, in the middle of this whole discussion? How many Americans do guns kill a year? And Ebola's killed exactly one person, right? That didn't even get it here.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
And you see the weird reactions that places have. I mean, I'm sure you've already talked about that Texas college that said that its students couldn't go to any of the quote-unquote Ebola countries,
right?
Including Nigeria, which has no Ebola.
Right.
But you know where it does have Ebola?
Where?
Texas.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it just goes on and on. I think I saw our friend, the Rockin' Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky was on Morning Joe talking about just the facts and figures, Carl, that we've been talking about, the budget cuts. To, CDC, to the NIH, to all of the, to the stuff that obviously is directly
severe budget cuts. I mean, and this is where you realize that Republicans really don't care or want about any government.
Right.
One could make the argument a few years ago, fine, you want to get rid of the Department of Education and the Housing and Urban Development and the Energy Department, but you don't want to get rid of NIH or the FDA. You want food inspected, right? No, not really.
Yeah.
You want medicine to be safe? Meh. Take our chances. Do our boner pills work? And then, you want to protect people from contagious diseases that you might be vulnerable to. Well, not that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as they can get their tax cuts for these huge corporations.
Yeah, and in fact, you retweeted Tina Dupuis, who we'll have on in just a little bit. You said that she tweeted, so small-town sheriff's departments have tanks and sound cannons, but a hospital in Dallas doesn't have hazmat suits?
That's an awesome point.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, they do need the tanks and cannons. The traffic's, people are running traffic lights these days at alarming numbers.
Exactly. Thank God we've got that on lockdown.
Right.
I think that, and as usual, this, CDC director, there they are. It could be any hearing, right? It could be Benghazi, it could be whatever. It's just, and there's Bobby Jindal out blaming the president for Ebola.
Here's the difference between any hearing and this. When you have hearings with people from the FDC or the National Institutes of Health, you're talking to medical professionals who are extremely technically qualified for the work that they're doing. And they're doing it because the work is important, because it's not like they're making a killing financially.
Yeah.
I think his name is Francis O'Connor.
Right.
Something like that. Mm-hmm. He's the head of the NIH, and he is a very capable man. You just have to listen to him. They've been cut down to the bone in terms of their funding.
Yeah.
And if they had the money, they'd be able to handle this better.
Yeah.
They're saying that if they had, enough money, there could have been a cure for Ebola by now.
Yeah, well, exactly. More than one scientist, or like as you said, the head of the NIH has said that. And here we come up against the, not just the austerity part of the Republican Party, but the anti-science. It's like, guess how you find a vaccine for Ebola? You fund finding a vaccine for Ebola, right?
It exposes the anti-science. It exposes the xenophobia and the racism. It exposes just about every piece, and it's happening right before an election. So it's like a perfect storm. The kind that are caused by gay marriage.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Clearly, this is with the gays. But like it's coincidence that we had all these marriage equality rulings, and now there's Ebola, right, Carl?
I don't believe in coincidence. God obviously made this happen.
By the way, you tweeted, wait, is Fox News blaming same-sex marriage for Rupert Murdoch's most recent divorce or all of his divorces?
Right. They were on talking about how the people, straight people getting married in lower numbers, which has been a trend for a very long time.
Yeah.
Whether or not that was because of same-sex marriage. I have yet to meet a straight person who thinks that they're not going to get married because of gay people. I've heard straight people say, like, I won't get married until my gay friends can get married.
Right.
But I've not heard the opposite.
Right. Right.
And a guy will think of anything to get out of getting married.
Right. Which right-wing friend of ours was the religious right guy that said it will cause straight people to have too many hobbies.
Oh, Tim Wildman.
Instead of having sex with their wives, it's going to cause men to,
If you are a religious conservative and the man that you're dating tells you, I'm not getting married because of gay marriage, there's a good chance, I'm just saying better than average chance, that he's not getting married to you because he'd rather be marrying a man.
Carl, you tweeted...
It'll cause a glut of ships and bottles.
You're dodging a bullet, lady. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You tweeted delicious Palin clan brawl, 7 amazing moments revealed by the newly released police report. Your personal favorites?
My personal favorite was probably Sarah and Todd Palin shoving a shirtless, what's his name?
Track.
Or Skipper or whatever.
Skipper.
Into the car as he was like throwing middle fingers up in the air.
Oh, yeah.
I can visualize that, and it's just so cute.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's so beautifully trashy.
Yeah. or Palin, what's her name? No, Bristol.
Or Willow.
Right. No, Bristol.
Bristol, okay.
Cold cocking the host of the party several times.
One of them was saying that she was dragged across the lawn by her ankles.
That's awesome.
Which is unusual. I mean, it's fairly often that Palins have their ankles above their head, but
now, Carl Louise.
Did you see that Meghan McCain was asked about Sarah Palin yesterday in some interview somewhere?
Oh, yeah.
And she said, yeah, I liked her at first because she was kind of cool and different, but now she's like that crazy aunt that, always does stuff.
I think that gives crazy ants a bad name.
Yeah.
It's the crazy aunt that Ross Perot warned us about.
Right.
I think she's more on like the woman on the season finale of Hoarders. And they just happen to go to Alaska because they have a little bit more money in their budget.
Right.
How many face plants do you think that happen in the McCain household every time?
Face palm.
Face palm, right? Just
yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I was like, you mean people trip, Stephanie?
Yeah, that's a face plant.
Sorry. Okay. Well, either way. All right.
John McCain, as much as it probably hurts him to say it, when Sarah Palin said that she was very sorry, I bet he took that literally and said, I forgive you.
John McCain's just muttering at home with his Barca lounger. It's not the policy. It's not the policy to embarrass
for 2 decades.
Pardon me?
He's been muttering at home in his Barca lounger for 2 decades.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, Carl, great stuff. See you next week, honey.
Have a good one.
All right, there he goes. Carl Frisch. Sorry, I have leftovers.
In the way of your phone.
Right.
Yeah.
My show is getting in the way of my party here. My Tupperware party. 19 minutes after the hour, right back on Stephanie Miller. Very busy here at Stephanie Miller International this morning.
International Incorporated.
Hot Ebola news right off the press. Okay.
Uh-oh.
24 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Look at this. Tina Dupuis on the interwebs, who will join us in about a half an hour.
Yes.
So far, she tweeted, so far every case of Ebola in this country got it by helping people, so relax, Republicans, you're in the clear. Hi. Don't worry, you haven't inadvertently helped anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to John in Minneapolis. Hi, John. Welcome.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, it's kind of ironic that we've spent, billions of dollars for 2 wars, actually trillions we've spent for 2 wars to fight terrorism. We're spending, billions to listen in on each other, to listen to private citizens' phone calls, what James Risen calls the national security, homeland security industrial complex. And, the fact of the matter is we've been ratcheting down for years what we spend on health care to make up for, that expenditure. And, what's more of a threat? This issue, I think, is really going to play favorably to the Democrats, and I hope
so. John, you know what? Tina Dupuis, we'll put a link up, but you should read her piece today. She says, please, let's politicize Ebola.
Yeah.
Because she said, good, it has people's attention, and it's exactly to shine a spotlight on stuff like this, on this, this austerity and these budget cuts to things that are really important, to not, because, by the way, it's not just Surgeon General. They won't, as she said, they won't, confirm anybody that he nominates just because he's nominated. eliminated them, right?
Right, and, science is going to, reign here, and science is about the truth. You can't, deal with the facts by just ignoring them.
Right.
And, as you said, science is going to prove that we need rational people making policy in Washington, D.C. instead of idiots.
Yep, there you go. There you go. There's a new idea. Speaking of, the most ironic version ever of the Isn't It Ironic file.
Okay.
Kathleen writes, because I was mentioning the Surgeon General nominee, because he said, it seems like guns might be a skosh bit of a health problem in the United States.
Yeah.
What did I say? Is it me? Is it something I said? So, because the NRA is interchangeable with the GOP,
right,
they won't confirm him. Anyway, Kathleen writes about that. My brilliant husband asked me an interesting question tonight. Why is it that one person in the United States has died from Ebola, which is very sad, and people are calling for the government to enact drastic measures while many more people are dying from gun-related incidents every day, and many of the same people want the government to stay out of their lives? And we can't have a Surgeon General.
Right. Not asking for...
Because he said, hey, you know what? Yeah. I don't even have the number in front of me. How many people die from guns every year?
A gazillion.
United States? Right.
And we're not asking for a gun ban. We're asking for sensible gun control.
Right.
That's all.
Ellen in West L.A. Hello, Ellen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
6 weeks ago, we could have had congressional hearings because Diana DeGette from Denver requested hearings on Ebola on September 2nd, before Mr. Duncan died. And John Boehner said, no, we'd rather go to recess so we can raise some Koch brothers money.
Thank
you.
We
could have already had these hearings.
That's right.
They shut down Congress.
Yeah, exactly, Ellen. This is what I mean when Tina talks about, good, let's politicize Ebola.
That's we're not. Yeah. We're politicizing. Chris Matthews on Hardball is fear-mongering about Ebola and ISIS. Chris Matthews.
It's irresponsible.
Who didn't really love the Iraq War before it went bad.
Yeah, exactly. Diana DeGette yesterday at the hearings here.
Was this information given to your emergency room personnel, and was there any actual person-to-person training at Texas Presbyterian for the staff at that time? Yes or no?
It was given to the emergency department.
Was there actual training?
No.
The head of the Nurses Association called and told us the day all this news broke.
Exactly.
Here she is again with the doctor from Texas.
On August 1st, your hospital received an email from the CDC specifying how to care for Ebola patients and advising intake personnel to ask a question about travel history from West Africa. Is that right?
That's correct.
Now, on September 25th, almost 2 months after the first advisory received by the hospital, Thomas Eric Duncan showed up at Texas Presbyterian with a fever that spiked up to 103, and he told the personnel that he had come from Liberia. Despite this, the hospital sent him home. Is that right?
That's not completely correct.
Well, they did send him home, right?
That's correct.
By the way, I hate to tell you this, but this whole stack, much of it is Chris is a great big doofus for blaming the CDC yesterday and not the hospital. Also, you took a lot of on Twitter. I don't know if you read it, but okay. 29 minutes after the hour. You can take it.
I can take it.
Although you removed several layers of hair, so your skin may be a little thinner now.
You're obsessed with my hair.
I know. Well, you got to get the podcast to see what I called you yesterday. All right. All right, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 34 minutes after the hour. Tina Dupuis coming up at the top of the hour. Journalist Jorge Lee in hour number 3 or earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, depending on her recovery from the Happy Hour podcast with Jim Ward. Check it out. Audio will be available tonight and video tomorrow as always. Get it. Get
your face up in there.
I love a Twitterati. Shokula is his name. He tweeted, Obama has made mistakes, all presidents do, but he was also handed the biggest pile of crap in our history by people who should be in prison. Thank you. Thank you.
And yet they're not in prison. They're going out on TV talking about...
Yes, what President Obama's doing wrong.
Exactly.
Right. That's what we were talking about, the name of the ISIS operation. It's Operation Inherent Resolve. Can we just call it Operation Dick Cheney? No?
Operation...
Thanks, Dick Cheney.
Operation Feckless Indifference.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Mike in New York. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Mike.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
All right. You know how when you say let's Senator Lindsey's name, you do the girl screaming. You gotta bring. Yeah, you gotta bring back every time you say McCain's name. You gotta do the dog growl forever. That never gets. Oh, that is hilarious.
He is the angriest dog in the world.
And then Mark Thompson. Said,
I told you, my friend Karen, I call her dog Senator McCain because this is the angriest dog in the world. I was at her house once for 2 hours, right at my ankle. She was just like, it was like sitting through a hearing with John McCain.
Every time you say his name, you got to do that. And then yesterday, Mark Thompson said Senator McCain, not McCain, McConnell, and he brought up the turtle.
It's all right. Everybody's ripping us off left and right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. You're cracking yourself up. All right.
I'd rather Mark Thompson rip us off than, like...
Right. Everybody else can
Michael
go back
Savage.
and you can go back in your...
Turtle tunnel.
Exactly. See how I just knew that that's what you had ready there? You complete me.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
I don't know where I end and you begin anymore.
Oh, great. I'm never going to shake you, am I?
I feel closer to you now that you don't have so much hair. Oh. Ron in Redlands. No, you will not shake me. Hello, Ron. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to kind of give you a little tongue-in-cheek comment, maybe from a perspective from the Christian right. You recall that during the AIDS epidemic that they, many of them jumped up and said that was God's an angry God, and this was God's way of punishing the bad gay people. Well, I've got a theory for them. Maybe God is angry at white people for using slave labor from Africa to build this country, and Ebola's coming to get the white people.
It's just a little... Wow. People are a little giddy and chuckly this morning.
We have a little bit of breaking news. The World Health Organization has admitted to botching attempts to stop the Ebola outbreak in West Africa.
You think? From the Department of You think?
Yeah. So they've admitted it now.
What? How is that Obama's fault? That's not going to play what? Okay. Dr. Tom Frieden, CDC director, yesterday at the hearings.
Our top priority, our focus, is to work 24/7 to protect Americans. That's our mission. We protect Americans from threats, and in the case of Ebola, we do that by a system at multiple levels. There are no shortcuts. Everyone has to do their part. There are more than 5,000 hospitals in this country. There are more than 2,500 health departments at the local level. We're there to support. We're there with world-class expertise, and we're there to respond to threats so that we can help protect Americans.
He said obviously officials still don't know exactly how these two nurses contracted it. He said, while we do not know exactly how these transmissions occurred, they demonstrate the need to strengthen the procedures for infection control protocols, which allowed for exposure to the virus. So we're working very hard to investigate the situation, but we're not waiting for the completion of this investigation. We've already helped the hospital implement new measures for safety. The CDC has already recommended several policy changes for Texas Presbyterian where this happened, including decreasing the number of health workers who care for Ebola patients. The agency has also suggested limiting staff interactions with the patients to only essential procedures and providing better training for how to use protective equipment. Currently, officials are monitoring 76 people who had possible contact with Duncan when he was hospitalized and has made rooms available for any staffers who want to self-isolate out of an abundance of caution. Meanwhile, the Nina Pham, the first stricken nurse, was moved to Maryland, where they specialize, the
National
other
Institutes of Health.
The other nurse went to Atlanta, to Emory. And where we saw Clipboard Guy, who apparently is fine.
Yes, he was
because of his magic clipboard.
He was Mr. Protocol.
Right.
He was from National Institutes of Health or CDC or
He's
something.
He's the guy at the bottom of the plate. Oh, watch your step.
Yeah. Making sure that all protocols were followed.
Yes, exactly.
And he didn't need to be in a hazmat suit because everybody else was.
Right, because then no one else can see in those friggin' things.
Yes, just like looking through a mail slot.
Right. Hello. Arthur in Virginia, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Arthur.
Hey, Stephanie.
Hey.
I love you. I love your show.
Thank you.
I watch it almost every day.
Hooray.
While cleaning the house. And,
all right.
all this Ebola talk, I mean, it's everywhere.
Ebola,
whatever it is.
You've been listening to our song too much. All right, go ahead.
I know y'all are right that it's not that big a thing, but I just feel like maybe just ought to quit talking about it.
Oh, all right.
What do you think?
Well, listen, you know what? I'm going to give myself a pass because I'm here to point out how the rest of the media is this up. But I think that's what people are saying, that this is the bigger fear is hysteria.
Hysteria. Yeah. The New York Times had a wonderful point yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The New York Times has a piece entitled "Experts Offer Steps for Avoiding Public Hysteria, a Different Contagious Threat." And we were talking about, you and Carl and I were talking about the anthrax scares. And by the way, speaking of politicizing things, anyone remember those were all sent to Democratic officials?
Yeah.
How come no one was ever caught? Remember, it was sent to all the top Democrats, the anthrax powder. Okay. Health officials scrambled to explain how 2 nurses became infected in Dallas. Psychologists are increasingly concerned about another kind of contagion whose symptoms range from heightened anxiety to avoidance of public places to full-blown hysteria. So far, emergency rooms have not been overwhelmed with people afraid that they had caught the Ebola virus. What was the antibiotic? Remember for anthrax? Remember everybody was spreading, like asking for that damn whatever that thing was, to Cipro something.
Cipro. It was
right.
Cipro. I was thinking Vioxx, but that's not it.
Yeah, people didn't even have it or any. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was a run on Cipro, and it was really hard to get.
Right. And no one's hiding in the basement and hoarding food, but there's little doubt the events of the past week have left the public increasingly worried. And once again, the media is not helping. Experts who study public psychology said the next few weeks will be crucial to containing mounting anxiety. The risk of infection remains vanishingly small in this country. This is according to experts, scientists, doctors, not people that write fiction novels. Talking to you, CNN.
Yeah.
Okay. The virus is not airborne, not able to travel in the way that, say, measles or the SARS virus can. Close contact with a patient is required for transmission. Just 1 death from Ebola has occurred here. Medical care, as we keep saying, is light years ahead of what's available in West Africa. By contrast, in some years, the flu kills more than 30,000 people in the U.S., yet this causes little of anxiety. Millions of people who could benefit from getting a flu shot don't get one.
Yep.
I never did. And then I got the flu last year for the first time in my life.
Are you getting a flu shot this year?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Experts said the most recent precedent of the Ebola risk, psychologically speaking, is the anthrax scare. The other thing is you have to remember that was in the shadow of 9/11.
Yeah.
So everybody
everybody was panicky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People reported physical symptoms like headaches, nausea, and faintness. Ultimately, they were determined to be the result of hysteria. So you can actually get symptoms of stuff if you get too hysterical about it. One professor of sociology said, I was in college then. I remember they evacuated the business school building because someone saw white powder in the cafeteria. The powder turned out to be artificial sweetener.
Splenda!
The Splenda scare of 2002. We'll never forget it.
Well, no, I worked at a radio station at that time, and we stopped receiving mail.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
That was like the running joke, like, who's opening my mail?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then there's all these doofuses that it'd be funny to send somebody a letter with, like, baby powder in it, because that'd be funny.
We put a bunch of interns in the conference room with some rubber gloves and had them open the mail.
Interns.
Yeah,
That's what they're for.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the front line against pandemics.
That's right.
You don't want to get to a host. I mean, we're the important people.
Yeah.
The Ebola outbreak has many of the same elements, the New York Times writes, that could quickly stoke instinctual panic. According to experts, it's invisible and deadly, a point graphically communicated in the nonstop pictures and videos from Africa, like SARS and more recently MERS. That was it, yeah. Middle Eastern respiratory system and bird flu. It's a strange, exotic threat. There's little that can be done to personally limit it. These elements are precisely those that are most likely to cause contagious anxiety, researchers have found. And add to this fact that death from Ebola is so gruesome and people can become fearful very quickly. It's the same reason we're terrified of airplane accidents, because we can't imagine what those last moments must be like, according to Dr. Lowenstein. Oh, Barbara Streisand chimed in. Dr. Lowenstein from Prince of Tides. Awesome. Dr. Lowenstein.
Oh, I never saw that.
What does Nick Nolte think about it? I just thought that's funny. It's actually Dr. Lowenstein. Well, that is the other thing. It is like a movie death. I mean, you're like, really? You start bleeding from your eye sockets and your what? And then you projectile diarrhea and vomiting. And it's like something out of The Exorcist.
Well, it's not as dramatic as that. Mostly you get like these
The diarrhea and vomiting is referred to as projectile.
Right. Mostly you get these like blisters on your skin that erupt into blood, if you're really far along. And there's blood in your stool, blood in your mouth.
Right,
okay.
All right, there's people eating.
Well.
Okay, 45 minutes after.
You brought it up.
45 was a point.
I've actually Googled pictures of people with Ebola, and that's what it is.
Oh, Lord God. Yeah. 45 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Call Steph.
It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. Tina Dupuy coming up at the top of the hour. May Lee, journalist extraordinaire in hour number 3. Did you see Max and Fred? I've been sound asleep the whole morning. You know why?
Why?
Running away from May's whore dog all night. Eggy was here sexually assaulting both of my dogs.
It's all on camera.
All night.
If you get the video podcast, the video happy hour podcast.
Exactly. Proving my point exactly. All right. Wow. A couple of Ebola panic stories, everybody. Attention, Ebola panic. Max, somebody named Max tweeted, fear of Ebola is having economic costs here, too. 200 janitors at LaGuardia have walked off the job last night.
Oh, boy.
Fearful of exposure to Ebola, about 200 of the people who clean airplane cabins walked off the job overnight at LaGuardia International Airport. The walkout came a day after health and safety experts from Service Employees International Union, which represents many unionized airport employees, raised concerns over whether cabin cleaners were being adequately protected. Just like the head of the nurses, the nurses union called here the day this all broke. And I said it yesterday, Chris, and this is why I'll say it again. This is why we have this fine tradition of unions in this country, because they need people to stand up and go, who's paying attention?
That's right.
To what, to these employees that are doing this kind of work. And God bless them. But, I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is why, we got to get this under control, because the hysteria is going to Ebola panic. Story number 2. Syracuse University disinvites Washington Post photographer because he was in Liberia 3 weeks ago.
Oh, my God.
He's a Pulitzer Prize-winning photojournalist, was scheduled, and he said, it's a disappointment to me. I'm pissed off and embarrassed and completely weirded out that a journalism institution that should be seeking out facts and details is basically pandering to hysteria. It exactly goes to, the New York Times piece I was just talking about. Let's go to Tom in Albuquerque. Hey, Tom, welcome.
Hey, good morning, Stephanie. How are you?
Good morning. Good, go ahead.
I'm listening to all these hysterical Republicans talking about a travel ban for all the one person that has come over from West Africa.
Right.
I think they've misplaced their priorities there as Republicans. I think they need to be talking about a travel ban to and from Texas and keeping all the Texans inside Texas.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Except for Wendy Davis. She can leave.
Oh, well, she can leave. That would be very nice if she wanted to. But, we need her there for good governance. But, while we're banning travel, maybe we should put up a fence all around Texas and electrify it.
There you go. Only Wendy Davis. We'll just fly right into Austin. We'll airlift Austin out and Wendy Davis.
Okay.
Look at that. I just happened to have Von Seal in Asheville just sent me this.
Awesome.
Wendy Davis forgetting to be afraid.
Very cool.
It could be about Ebola, too, everybody.
Yep.
Get it. Buy it. Okay. Dr. Frieden, CDC director, yesterday.
My fear about Ebola is that it could spread more widely in Africa. If this were to happen, it could become a threat to our health system and the health care we give for a long time to come.
Yep, and the World Health Organization just admitted that they screwed up in the initial days of Ebola in Africa. That's why we're in this situation now.
I love this. Contagion screenwriter, Ebola fears are inflated.
Yeah.
Wrote the fiction. He's like, stop it, you people are being hysterical.
Yeah.
While Ebola continues to paralyze many Americans with fear of a widespread outbreak, Contagion screenwriter Scott Burns says he's concerned that we're making a lot of rookie mistakes, even though the virus has been around for more than 40 years. He said what we're seeing now is a series of very big mistakes, starting with an incredibly inefficient and poorly orchestrated response when Ebola first appeared in West Africa. Exactly what he said. Going through the decision to the decision of a nurse with a fever to get on a commercial flight. Contagion, which was shaped, as you said, with mountains of research,
absolutely,
was designed to show how widespread diseases can be worsened by fear, hysteria, the media, and other human factors. What scares me more than Ebola, he said, are the more mundane viruses of stupidity and fear and partisan politics.
Yeah.
He said, I certainly don't want to scare people because that seems what most of the media are doing a great job of doing. But when I did my research, all the experts told me that they expected there to be a pandemic of some kind of influenza like we saw in World War I with the Spanish flu. And this isn't that. This is not what they would call the big one. He said in his experience in researching for the thriller, he found researchers are more concerned about the media scaring people than the science of fighting the disease. He said there really are brilliant researchers who are capable of combating these diseases. The experts I talked to on the movie are not concerned about the science. They're concerned about educating people and about the media scaring people. Yeah. And there you go.
And that's why since the beginning, we've been very responsible here on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Oh, and by the way, on cue, Bobby Jindal slams President Obama.
You're doing it wrong!
Of course it's his fault. Mm-hmm. Bobby Jindal said it's President Obama's incompetence is to blame for the growing Ebola. Of course. Obama again. The possible presidential contender. Bobby Jindal's going to be president. Yeah, why doesn't he just exorcise the Ebola demons away? Okay.
Yeah.
To
Bobby
lambast
Jindal
the
as president is not going to happen.
He said his tenure has been anything but competent, blah, blah, blah. Obama seems more focused on getting through the 24-hour news cycle than actually solving the Ebola problem. Okay. Yeah, right. President's not doing anything. Okay.
Volcano monitoring.
That's crazy. Why would we have to have... Huh? What's that? It's molten lava. Andy in Canton, Ohio. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Andy.
Hi.
Hello.
Stephanie, I'd like to, as a veteran, thank you for taking a stand on the expression boots on the ground.
Thank you.
You don't know how insulting that expression is.
Yeah. Yeah. People in those boots with families. Yep.
That's right. The other reason I was calling is sometimes I think the Democrats think they're dealing with reasonable people, and they've got to get over that.
Yeah. They have long ago should have disabused us of that notion, right?
Right. And instead of referring to the mainstream of media, why don't we just come out and start calling it the conservative media?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Playing the same game, you know?
Yeah.
Quit being nice.
Yep. Well, listen, I've never been accused of being nice. The C word quite a bit, but nice.
No, just once.
No. Oh, no, more than once.
Oh,
Mike and Madison.
just once from me, then.
Oh, well.
Okay.
All right, Mike and Madison. Now you think you have a free pass.
Oh, I've never called you that again.
Mike and Madison. Hello, Mike.
You guys, I don't think that white people need to worry about Ebola, but they may want to get vaccinated for Romney Ebola. It's on the move, it's spreading, and it's coming through the Mexican border. Now, I'm glad I said it, because I know the Republicans are going to come up with Obama Ebola sometime, but they're
they already did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think
who is it? What's his name?
Oh, Dinesh D'Souza.
Ebola. Obola's
the dream from his father.
I'm more worried about Ebola. Oh, my God. Good one. Wow. Whew. 58 minutes after the hour. Tina Dupuis next.
The right gives me a headache.
Their comedy makes me bleed from the eyeballs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Too soon.
Okay. Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Happy Dirty Horror Fridays, everybody.
See, Tina Dupuis heard that, and she's going to think you called her that.
No. Although I will have had Tina twice this week, which is very, very, Listen, most people can only imagine having Tina Dupuis not even once in their lifetime, but twice in a week. It's too much. It's just...
Speaking of funny and smart, I want to bring on Tina Dupuis. Tina Dupuis is brilliant. She's funny. She's a terrific writer.
Tina does everything, and I just love her already.
Wow,
Stephanie, you're too much.
Twice in 1 week. How does this happen?
Now we're just getting greedy.
So did you make it above 10,000 followers?
Yeah, just a couple.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, brought me home. No, I'm there. I have my little K. Very exciting.
Awesome,
very,
you have a K.
Exciting.
Yay. Yay. I've already been quoting you in advance of talking to you because it is a brilliant piece as usual, but your headline is simply, please politicize Ebola, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were saying people who work in politics use politicization as a pejorative, like a chef sneering at all the cooking going on in the gas kitchen. But, as you say, this is one, if it has people's attention, then good, right?
Right. Well, I mean, so remember after Hurricane Katrina when like there was like government failure after government failure, and there were still bloated bodies in the streets, and Republicans would get on specifically Fox News and go, let's not politicize this, and it's like, whoa, no, let's. Yeah. And for some reason, Democrats specifically like to back down from this very hollow barb, and even when I tweeted the headline, of course. I have also written about how people like to not read beyond the headline, which is another topic for another day. Yes. But people are like, I can't believe that you would try and politicize this. And it's like, okay, but yes, we should, because the reason why we're having issues right now is because of politics.
That's right.
It's already politicized.
You said let's politicize Ebola with abandon, with the same kind of passion we normally reserve for football or pumpkin spice Oreos, to which I say, there's pumpkin spice Oreos? Why wasn't I told?
Of course there are.
See that kind of passion I got in you? So let's do this for Ebola.
Let's do this, people.
As John Oliver said this weekend, pumpkin spice Oreos, it's the cookie that tastes like a candle.
Okay. So you say here's an opportunity. Ebola has people's attention. I've mentioned this I don't know how many times, Tina. We don't have a Surgeon General. Why? Are you right? Because the GOP doesn't like to let Obama fill key positions in the government. So when Obama nominates anyone by the sheer fact the candidate was nominated by Obama, the Republicans have a problem with said nominee. And we were saying the rich irony, right, about how many people die of gun deaths when we've had exactly one Ebola death. The reason that he won't be that the nominee is not was because he was opposed by the NRA because he had the audacity to say that he thinks guns might be a little bit of a health problem.
Right. The NRA spelled GOP.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, you wrote that exactly. I mean, seriously, and kills tens of thousands of Americans a year. I mean, yeah.
Correct. We also lose thousands of Americans a year to the flu, and that doesn't get people's attention. But we need the kind of funding at the CDC and the NIH to be able to get vaccines out there and have the kind of infrastructure that if there is a crisis, if there is an outbreak, that they'll be able to contain it. We're seeing right now the potential for an outbreak. We haven't had an outbreak, but it's like if we're going to talk about this and people are going to have and Ebola is going to be a trending Twitter topic for the next month. Like, okay, then let's talk about our infrastructure and how we've been cutting government programs, and we've been cutting science research, and we've been cutting all of these things that could prepare us for the next outbreak.
Right. And, as it's often said, if facts have a liberal bias, so be it. But, as you say, there are cold, hard facts about this, and both sides do not do it. One side does it, as you write. We don't have a vaccine for Ebola. Why? Because the GOP reflexively gets into a size instead of function argument when it comes to government. And as we talked about, the director of the National Institute of Health said a decade of budget cuts and stagnation are the reasons why a vaccine hasn't been developed. As you say, the CDC's emergency preparedness budget has been cut in half over the same time. By whom? Right. The GOP. So, you can't just go, if we're going to fix something, you have to look at the facts of why we're here, right?
Right, and just kind of like, let's not make this about politics. It's like, no, it is about politics. And I just saw, I think it was Senator Burr on Twitter was like, let's not put politics in this. And it's like, no, let's. Right. It has everything to do with politics, and so we need to have a political discussion. If you want to have a discussion about viruses, then that's fine. That's a whole different discussion. But what we really need to be doing right now is talking about how our politics got us to this point. Well, and how we have this insane idea that if we just cut government, that's going to be great for everybody. Because that's actually not true.
And you make a larger point, which is perfect. Obamacare is the political hot button of the decade. Universal coverage was the goal with Obamacare. We want everyone to be covered. Why? Because it's healthier for everyone when sick people get care, period. And nothing demonstrates this better than Ebola on our shores, right? I mean, it's
absolutely.
Yeah, and perfect with what's going on, too, and where we are spending our money. You say, unfortunately, we don't politicize everything. We stopped politicizing war. Now it's something everyone in Washington agrees is a priority. And you just said there will be children old enough to buy beer who've never known America not at war, right? I mean, that is stunning when you think about the amount of money, right?
Right. Well, but they're also, yes, our $1 trillion embassy in Iraq. but also that, like, there's not even a debate when it comes to waging war on any front. So, like, Congress won't even come back to authorize it. They're just kind of like, yeah, we'll get to it because because there's no controversy anymore.
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
It's not politicized whatsoever. So,
Right.
like, when Mitch McConnell says that he would be more than happy to shut down the government in order to, if the Republicans win the Senate, that he would be more than happy to shut down the government to force Obama to have these, further cuts in spending bills to sign, that you kind of go like, wait a second, if war were politicized, we would all be really horrified that he would even threaten to do that at a time of war when we have troops on the ground. Like, that's just ghoulish. But because we no longer politicize war, now it's like, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. That's just, he's just
we mentioned
politics.
Congresswoman Diana DeGette said she asked for a hearing on Ebola. Boner said, no, we're going to go on recess. It's like, again, both sides don't do it. I mean, and you say you're right, part of politicizing is holding people accountable for stupid ideas and decisions. That's why some things are and should be politicized, and how our government plans to contain a highly communicable disease is one of them. This is the moment to ask to properly fund the CDC's public health emergency preparedness and the NIH's research. There you go, politicized. You've done it.
Yeah.
You went and did it.
Go and ask. Go and tell your public officials that this is what you want and this is what is important and this is what has been brought to your attention. Because now we should have priorities for this, because it's one of those things, like having health insurance, having the NIH and the CDC properly funded. You hope you never use it, but wow, are you grateful you have it?
The right wing, as you know, will remain, they will remain clueless about their degree of Obama derangement syndrome, right? I mean, we just said this morning the World Health Organization admitted they bungled the response to Ebola in Africa. They will figure out a way why that's Obama's fault, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because everything that happens in Africa, the country, is Obama's fault.
Yeah. Right. Because in case you haven't noticed, he's black.
In case you haven't noticed, he's black.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I hope that all this gets through. That just a brilliant piece. We linked to it up on Stephanie Miller Facebook.
Yep.
And
I really appreciate that, Stephanie.
And listen, I do not even smoke, but having you twice in 1 week, it's I'm just here lounging in the afterglow.
Stephanie, it was good for me too.
And get her Twitter numbers up. Go follow Tina Dupuy at Tina Dupuy, TINADUPUY.
Follow her. Maybe you can have her twice in 1 week. All right.
You guys are lovely.
Aw.
No, you.
All right. Weekend.
Cheers, love you, Tina. Bye, honey. All right, and I meant that in a nasty way.
Nasty, dirty.
Dirty and nasty. By the way, the hospital that cared for the first man, Thomas Eric Duncan, called his fiancée to apologize for not being able to save him. Dr. Varga from the Presbyterian Hospital
Despite
yesterday.
our best intentions and a highly skilled medical team, we made mistakes. We did not correctly diagnose his symptoms as those of Ebola, and we are deeply sorry.
His fiancée said, the officials said the hospital was deeply sorry for the way the tragedy played out. I'm grateful to the hospital for this personal call. I'm grateful to God that this leader reached out and took responsibility for the hospital's actions. Hearing this information will help me as I mourn Eric's death. She went on to say, it's my position that God is the judge of others and their actions, and vengeance is not mine to demand. God is the judge, and God will take care of me. Although I'm guessing she's getting a few calls from attorneys as we speak. Have some other ideas. Okay, let me take a quick one here. Liz in Charleston, South Carolina. Hey, Liz.
Oh, hey. Oh, my God. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Oh, my God. Irma Gerd, hi.
Well, we had an interesting little situation here. My kids go to a local elementary school here in Charleston, and they were supposed to have a group of Kenyan musical performers come in and put on a show.
Right.
But all the parents freaked out so much over they might have Ebola that they canceled it.
Really?
Yeah, see, this is getting absurd.
This is getting stupid.
Yeah.
Because here in South Carolina, we ain't got no maps, so we can't look at it and go, oh, Kenya's over there.
Yeah.
These guys actually live in America.
Yeah, this is, this is just an excuse for, it's like some of the people in Dallas chanting, go back to Liberia to People that are from Liberia,
but have been here for 2 years.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a way. It's some people that are already bigots. This is a way that makes it fair game.
Yep.
All right, 17 minutes after the hour, we roll along on Dirty Whore Friday on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. 22 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number. Breaking news: President Obama will appoint Ron Klain, his Ebola czar.
Okay.
This according to CNN. Because we can't have a Surgeon General because he thinks guns might be bad for your health. Okay. All right. So that happened. We mentioned this earlier. Congresswoman Diana DeGette, Democrat of Colorado.
She did great yesterday in those hearings.
Yes, she did. Faulted the House subcommittee charged with investigating the spread of Ebola for failing to act on her request to hold a hearing on September 2nd, more than 2 weeks before Thomas Duncan, the first patient to be diagnosed with the deadly virus in the U.S., traveled from Dallas to Liberia. I've been on this committee a long time. She said, I've seen SARS, I've seen bird flu, H1N1, and I knew this could be happening. So on September 2nd, I asked the chairman if I could have a hearing on Ebola. We are not having a hearing now until 2.5 weeks before the election.
Wow.
Only just a few weeks before the election, everybody's now called back to do this hearing. And, I will say September 2nd, that's before Mr. Duncan showed up. That's before the nurses were infected. So maybe we could have gotten to the bottom of some of these protocols before that. And I don't know, maybe none of this would have ever happened. But no, by the way, let's name names. John Boehner.
Yep.
John Boehner said no.
Boner.
Pardon me, my Boehner.
Yeah, what? You haven't called him Boehner in years.
Because
what is
I want
wrong
people
with
to
you?
understand, people that have just tuned in. John Boehner, the big orange weepy boner, said no. That's crazy. That's crazier than volcano monitoring Ebola. When could that ever happen here?
That's cray-cray.
Move along, chickie. I don't know if he said that. Something. I have a feeling he does this to female congresspeople. Scat. Now scat. Turn around on them pins and...
Go fix me a turkey pot pie.
Exactly. I bet you that's what he said to her.
Uh-huh.
Make me a rusty nail.
Make me a sandwich.
Make me a sandwich and a rusty nail. Scat! Woman, bother me. Ben White tweeted, I've also been tempted by the idea of a travel ban, but logic and basic humanity argue strongly against it. Interesting piece in Politico, why a travel ban wouldn't work. The political momentum for a travel ban on West African nations continued to swell Thursday, but health and transportation experts were uniform in saying it wouldn't stem the spread of Ebola. It could do more harm than good. It's a predictable knee-jerk that you're going to hear from the right wing. It hasn't stopped politicians and pundits raging from John Boehner, whoever.
Whatever.
To former Obama press secretary Jay Carney, God help me, from former administration officials that are trying to make a name for themselves or sell a book. Even he said, well, I'm not an expert. Well, then shut up. From calling for a travel ban, the appeal is obvious. It sounds like a no-brainer to build an infectious disease moat around the U.S., blocking some flights and barring people who come from the country suffering the worst Ebola outbreaks. But in reality, the experts say, is that those kind of measures have failed before, and this time experts inside and outside the administration warned throttling travel would hammer already devastated West African countries, making it difficult to send relief where it's needed, to send an unknown number of infected travelers into the shadows, increasing the difficulty of knowing how many were entering the U.S. Tom Frieden said, right now we know who's coming in. While he didn't slam the door entirely, he said the CDC will certainly consider anything that will reduce risk to Americans. But anyway, everybody gentle for a second.
Yeah.
Just
cool your jets.
Dr. Frieden yesterday. Here he is, Tom Frieden.
It's certainly understandable that there is intense media interest. It's new to the United States. It's a scary disease. Had a movie made about it. And it's important to have that attention so that we as a society pay attention, and doctors in hospitals and community health clinics and primary care practices think of the possibility of Ebola, that we generate the societal will and resources to both protect Americans and stop it at the source, because it's got to be stopped at the source to make us completely safe.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying that the New York Times piece, that is part of it. There's been movies about it. It's a gruesome death. People assume it's like exploding ass syndrome. It sounds horrible. It's a lot of projectile.
Right. And,
horror film type.
He had a really good point. It's important for the media to keep it in the consciousness, so that you're on the lookout for it, and it's top of mind. But don't freak the hell out about it.
But to point out, CNN, that the man who wrote the book on Ebola is not the guy that wrote the fiction novel 30 years ago. It's actually a doctor would be someone who knows. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Talk to the screenwriter of Contagion before you talk to the screenwriter of Outbreak.
Okay. Dr. Frieden again yesterday.
Some of the coverage, I think many would agree, may exaggerate the potential risks or may confuse people about the risks.
Okay. Rob in Mesa, Arizona. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Rob.
Oh, hi. Hey, I've got, I figured out one word that disproves the whole religious argument for intelligent design.
Uh-huh.
And that word is Hannity. Because if there's any intelligence in that guy, then I've got a whole yard full of rocks, right on the verge of solving all the world's problems.
Okay. All right. But he does a really tough guy S&M workout. Check it out. Okay. Fred in Ann Arbor, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Fred.
How are you?
Good. Go ahead.
I'd like to be the official transplanted Southern Community College music professor who is blind of the Stephanie Miller Show.
Oh, hello. Hello. Okay.
And I'm just putting away the glasses from happy hour, and we set some for you all, and you didn't come this time, but we know come sometime.
Oh.
We'll make it next time.
Tonight. Come drink with us tonight. The audio will be posted, video tomorrow.
There you go, and we drank all the wine for you.
Okay, all right. Okay, go ahead.
I have a question, and I was listening to the earlier discussion about the schools and the colleges in Texas that are barring people from traveling to Ebola countries.
Right.
Wondering why the press is continuing to reference people as Ebola patients. In the disability movement for years, we've gotten people to use people first language, and so why am I not hearing people with Ebola?
Right.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, and that's the thing is, like, look, I'm not urging against basic caution, but it's just some of these stories, even just this morning we're hearing, are getting ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about when we come back. Ohio and Texas schools close amid Ebola scare. We'll talk about all of that 29 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. Journalist and noted whore. Mainly. And perhaps her whore dog will be back after violating my dogs all night long after the happy hour podcast taping yesterday, which will be available tonight.
Yes.
The audio and tomorrow the video.
Doggy porn will be available
Dog
tomorrow.
porn, no extra charge.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that Animal Planet calling? Did I hear that? Okay. So we were talking about hysteria, Ebola hysteria. There is caution, and then there is hysteria. Oh, did you hear out here in L.A., where was it, Southwestern, I think, college shut down? I don't even know if it was a building or half the campus, because somebody was were trying to excuse their absence. A student was trying to excuse their absence, and they said, it's because my sister was sick. She just flew. Anyway, the sister had, I don't know, the flu or something, and they shut down like a whole... Anyway.
Yeah.
They said, because, my sister was sick after flying yesterday, and I don't know. Okay, well, let's just shut down the whole school then.
Yeah, my cousin's aunt's uncle had the heebie-jeebies.
Right, had the googly-ooglies last week. Several schools in Ohio and Texas canceled classes Thursday over concerns that staff members and some students may have come in contact with a person infected with Ebola. In this case, these might be more cautious. I'm just saying there's a lot of these copycats that are,
Yeah.
An email sent to parents in Northeast Ohio said they closed the middle and elementary schools Thursday after they learned a middle school staff member may have traveled aboard the same airplane, though not on the same flight as the Dallas nurse. And then they're tracking where she went, the nurse in Ohio. She did go to one store. Health officials tracked down 5 contacts that are now under voluntary quarantine and daily monitoring for 21 days. 7 people total in the Cleveland area are being quarantined voluntarily. Vincent's mother, who traveled to Dallas and has no symptoms, also under quarantine. In Belton in Central Texas, 3 schools were closed Thursday over concerns surrounding 2 students who traveled on the Monday flight with Vincent, the second nurse to be affected. In Shaker Heights, Ohio, officials at Hathaway Brown School informed parents that a student whose house guest was on the same Dallas to Cleveland flight with Vincent was being kept home from school as a precaution. But it is amazing, some of these ripple effects. What's her name we talked about yesterday? Dr. Nancy Snyderman, right. So her, I guess, maid has been fired from a bunch of other jobs because,
Oh.
I mean,
seriously?
Yes, and it's like I can't remember all the just the the ripple effects of people being afraid.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
Although it was kind of dumb for her to go out and get soup when she was quarantined.
Right. Okay, Sue in Rockville, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Sue.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, and you have MD in your name. Oh, that's Maryland. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But the hubby is a doctor. Two things. One, Chris, Richard Preston is an award-winning nonfiction author who wrote The Hot Zone.
Right.
I don't understand why he hasn't been all over TV. Why are they bringing fiction writers on?
That's,
he wrote a definitive book about Ebola here in in Reston, Virginia.
Right. It read like a fiction novel, but it was nonfiction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if anyone is going to be on TV talking. However, there is another disease, and I hate to be the bearer of more scary news.
Oh, dear.
It's called EMS, Ebola Misinformation Syndrome.
Yes.
It's transmitted.
This has been a test of the EMS system.
And it's transmitted through the eyes and the ears. You get it from watching or listening to Fox. CNN.
Had this been a real emergency and not caused by CNN.
Anyone in the GOP, right-wing nut jobs, but there is a cure. A cure is coming up on November 4th. If you go and you vote blue and you vote for Democrats.
Yes.
EMS will go away, just like Ebola is going to go away.
Yes, and tell every Republican you know that you've heard that many of the voting booths are infected with Ebola. No, don't do that. I'm just saying.
I am astonished. I called the first week just to say how many people die of the flu, of cancer, of gun-related violence, and this is, thankfully these two nurses both seem to be okay. They're being getting treated. I don't even understand people. This reminds me of Y2K. And yesterday, Washington Post did have a decent article for a change on the fact that, and you alluded to it, the anthrax, all these viruses, swine flu, all happen right before election.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I know what you're thinking now, Chris. What does Louis Gohmert think?
Oh, God, I bet you it was something kind of Gohmert.
Gohmerty,
yeah.
It's a shame that the CDC had Frieden apparently is the new commander of the Democrats' war on women nurses because they set them up and then they throw them under the bus when they're
I don't know what
deadly diseases.
Wow. He had to ice down that groin after that. It's the Democrats' war on women nurses? What? You're such a moron. You are an idiot.
Even Fox and Friends yelled at him this morning for something. He made a crack about Geraldo's shirtless selfies that he's been putting out lately.
Geraldo needs to
and Brian Kilmeade said, Congressman, we just need you to stay to the topic and don't bring Geraldo into it.
Don't be such a
Gohmert. Yeah.
As usual, Andy Borowitz has the best headline. Some fear Ebola outbreak could make nation turn to science. It's a very human reaction, said Harlan Dorenson, a prominent anti-science activist from Springfield, Missouri. If you put them under enough stress, perfectly rational people will panic and start believing in science. Additionally, he worries about a slippery slope situation in which a belief in science leads to a belief in math, which in turn fosters a dangerous dependence on facts. At the end of the day, though, Dorenson hopes such a doomsday scenario will not come to pass. Time and time again through history, Americans have been exposed to science and refuse to accept it. I pray this time will be no different. Thank you, Andy Borowitz. Dr. Daniel Varga from Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas.
A lot is being said about what may or may not have occurred to cause Nina and Amber to contract Ebola. We know that they are both extremely skilled nurses, and we're using full protective measures under the CDC protocols, so we don't yet know precisely how or when they were infected. But it's clear there was an exposure somewhere, sometime, and we are poring over records and observations and doing all we can to find the answers.
John in Sebring, Florida. Hi, John. Welcome.
Hey.
Hey.
What kind of imports do we get from West Africa other than moving troops back and forth?
What kind of imports do we get? You mean products?
Yeah.
We don't get a whole lot from there.
I don't think we get a lot of why.
Yeah, I just, if that infection is that bad, what's the difference between having product brought in or having people brought in?
Right. The Ebola virus can only live for like just under an hour on a surface. So we're not. I mean, products have to come on a much longer journey than an hour to come from there. So we're not in danger.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You know what? We're here to just put out one little fire at a time.
You know, that's what we do.
Okay. This pumpkin spice Oreo is from Liberia.
I hate pumpkin spice anything.
Boy.
It's gross.
Oh, people. Max in Denver, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Max.
Hi. I'd like to be the official Stephanie Miller Show rocket surgeon.
Ooh, rocket surgeon.
Rocket cert?
Yeah.
Do you mean brain surgeon and rocket scientist?
But he's got both.
Okay.
I've done both.
Oh, all right.
That's really cool. You must be hella smart.
I've done brain surgery in orbit.
No way.
No,
He's
pulling
with
your
us.
leg.
All right, go ahead.
What I wanted to say is Ebola is a 5-letter word. Why can't we get that right? I hear Ebola, and everybody's, how dumb have we become? Maybe it's because it's 3 syllables. It throws a lot of people. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what did somebody call today on the phone? Yeah, Ebola?
Yeah.
I think.
Ebola.
Ebola.
I heard that on your news break. I think is it CBS News that does the news break?
Different stations have different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, somebody probably wrote the wrong copy or something. I think the woman read it and she caught herself. But.
Yep, I hear you. You know who I blame?
Who?
Rocky Mountain Mike. I think it's because of this. It sticks in your head.
It sticks in some people's craws.
I met her in a hospital in Texas where they screw things up and you get exposed to Ebola. Ebola.
Spell it. Write it out.
They locked all of us up behind a big fence and I walked up to her and asked if I had a chance against Ebola. Ebola. Ebola.
Isn't it better now?
It is. A Rocky Mountain Mike song always makes things better.
44 minutes after the hour, we roll along on Dirty Whore Fridays on our show. Welcome to it. 49 minutes after the hour, journalist May Lee coming up next hour. Travis already unlocked the gate, so who knows? Some other dirty horse might
Anybody
slip
could walk in.
Right? Anybody off the street.
Boy band could.
All right. Okay. Well, let's take a break from the Ebola hilarity.
Okay.
Thank you, Gawker, for the story to briefly take our
God bless
off.
them for bringing us the real news.
The headline is a couple in the sea hospitalized after getting stuck together.
Was there glue in the ocean? What?
No, I'll explain.
All right.
Who hasn't this happened to once? A couple having sex in the ocean off the Italian coast earlier this week reportedly became stuck together due to suction.
Oh.
They created a vacuum seal.
So conceivably this could happen in a hot tub?
Sure.
In a pool?
Required a trip to the emergency room to be separated. Literally, he doesn't know where he ends and she begins.
Right.
Until doctors figured it out.
It's like a human centipede.
Yes. The couple somehow became locked together mid-sex off a mostly empty beach. Well, it wouldn't be empty if people knew it was happening.
Well.
After briefly panicking, the couple fought their way back to shore and fled. That's like a potato sack race, but in the ocean.
A 3-legged race. Yeah.
Okay.
A true 3-legged race.
Well, yes.
You know.
Mm-hmm. And flagged down a woman who passed them a towel. Oh, anything to be a fly on the wall for that conversation. Dear. Excuse us, but we are stuck together in the ocean. Might we have a towel? A doctor was
we could cover our shame.
A doctor was called to the beach, but the job proved too tough, and the couple was taken. The doctor's like, I'm out.
Yeah,
I got nothing.
Yeah, you're on your own.
Listen, right? He tried, but just yeah. Okay. They were taken to the hospital. There, the woman was given an injection commonly used to dilate the uterus of pregnant women.
Oh.
And then the couple was finally free to go their separate ways. Okay. All right. So that's a happy ending in many ways.
Wow. So, yeah, that could happen in a hot
So
tub.
that happened, and we apparently let it.
Oof.
Seems
All
like
right.
your mind is reeling. It's some past experiences. Okay,
I'm
Chris
just
in
thinking
Dallas.
about what might have happened had something happened.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
That might have happened the time I sexually assaulted Travis in my pool
Yeah,
before I
and
hired him.
And my friend Jeff, who's going to be back here in December, by the way.
Okay.
He wants to say hi.
Oh, well.
And revisit.
Might be a hi that ends with a goodbye in the emergency room. Hi, Chris in Dallas. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Chris.
Hello, Stephanie. It's
Hello.
always good to talk to you.
You too. Go
I wanted to comment briefly on the midterm. If you've noticed something about Democrats and Republicans in both houses, Republicans tend to dominate Democrats even when they're not in power.
Yes.
And even with this fall upcoming election, they don't have to wait until they get the numbers to control Senate Democrats. By the way they've misused the filibuster, they've actually dominated the Senate over the last almost 6 years anyway. And until Democrats wake up and learn how to play hardball politics, such as those that are in close elections now, why aren't they talking about the minimum wage? Why aren't they talking about the unemployment benefit? The fact that if Senate Republicans get in, they're going to cancel out the Affordable Care Act and cancel health insurance. And they're not motivating their base, things like that. But Republicans dominate Democrats even when they're not in power.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that's keeping the president from appointing more judges, filling more vacancies, is that Pat Leahy has what's called this blue slip rule.
What?
Which means both senators from a state has to approve of a judicial nominee before it goes forward. He could change that. He could have changed that easily and allowed the president to fill more vacancies.
Yeah.
Because you know,
well, and I got to say we should be using this to get this Attorney General, Surgeon General, in office.
Well, we also need an Attorney General.
Yes. Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Okay. Julie writes, "Hey, Mama, a lovely and talented friend of the Stephanie Miller Show, Representative Jan Schakowsky.
Love her. Rockin'.
Rockin' Congressman from the great state of Illinois.
What'd you say? Wreck-it?
Rockin'. Was just on Morning Joe with some facts, figures, and positive suggestions on how to improve efforts to handle the dreaded Ebola thingy.
Nice.
She cited details of the staggering cuts to the CDC and NIH as hindering current efforts, noting several times that funding for hospital preparedness has been cut 43% just since 2006. Between unsubstantiated Chris-like claims that the CDC must demonstrate competence, Scarborough asserted that we need to get more resources to Africa to control the epidemic at its source. Jan diplomatically said that Joe's great plan would, of course, require more funding. She was also there to laud brave union nurses who have come forward and said they need to be involved in determining what to do and how to move forward on hospital readiness. She specified that money should be allocated to train and equip nurses who are on the front lines meeting this public health challenge. Hear, hear.
Absolutely.
She said we have to learn from mistakes that have occurred and make the changes needed to do better. Positive can-do approach to the immigrant plague that's sure to kill us all. Ron, I live in hell. Okay. Well, I think that's the finishing part. Travis should give the rocking congressman from Chicago a ringy dingy. Get her on the phone. Good idea. Address what should be done about this worrisome situation in a positive fashion rather than sitting around blaming people who don't have the resources to do the job like they had fiat powers and unlimited resources. Chris. Okay. And that was the least of my hate mail for you.
Oh, whatever. Oh, blow me.
Oh, is he allowed to say that? Okay. Who's in charge here? Jerry in Albuquerque. Hi, Jerry.
How are you?
Good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know what that guy was talking about, but 70% of the global supply of cocoa comes from West Africa. And even though we can't get Ebola, they're not shipping it. I know. I'm done.
Okay. There's going to be a chocolate. I sent you that story about the chocolate shortage.
Oh, dear God.
Roseanne Barr is dying right now.
What's that?
Roseanne Barr is dying. I heard her scream.
Who's dying?
Roseanne Barr, because she can't get any chocolate.
Oh, I see. Oh, no. What am I going to put on my nuts? My macadamia nuts. Okay, let's go to Mark in Albuquerque. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Mark. Hello, Mark. Go ahead.
Hi. I just wanted to say I love you, whore.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Thank you.
You're welcome. I want to talk about the Ebola misinformation campaign that's going on because I teach at a community college. I teach human anatomy and physiology. I teach pathophysiology. I get students who come up to me about the Ebola stuff almost every day now. And they have these questions that you thought would be answered, And what they do is they get these pieces of information from other people who are obviously watching something like Fox.
Right.
And we get so much misinformation out there. So please, please, please keep putting the right things out there and help me.
Yes.
Please help me.
All right, we will. Why, look what the cat just dragged in off the street. Look who, walked in off the street as in a street walker.
Oh, boy. You're on Steph's show for the hour, and we love you. You have made it to the basement for the show.
Chris, might you confirm that my dogs have not moved all morning and they are exhausted? And why are they exhausted?
Because they were getting some action last night.
They were getting sexually assaulted by Mei Li's
not.
whore of a dog.
She was playing. She was playing, and it just was, It
I
just
really
appeared
suggest
to be that way, that it was sexual, but it was really just innocent.
So it just appeared that she was their heads on camera, which if you got the happy hour video cast, you can see that.
Yes, go to StephanieMiller.com to find out how.
That'll be available tomorrow. The audio will be available tonight.
Yeah,
there's video evidence.
Unfortunately, she didn't do it just once, right?
No, many times.
No.
Dang it.
No. They are exhausted and look humiliated.
I know.
Look at them hanging their heads in shame.
They are not. They're so happy.
All right. Happy Dirty Whore Fridays. Mei Li's here, everybody. Woo! Stephanie Miller Show. Happy Dirty Whore Fridays, everybody.
Oh,
not that one again. A different one. Oh, for God's sakes.
That's one we didn't even use last week.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
That wasn't the Kenny Rogers one.
All right.
When you're with Steph, I'm smiling.
Happy Dirty Whore Friday.
Hello.
All right, I have to say, that was a really, really fun happy hour podcast. We were saying, every week we say it might be the best one.
Yeah, that was
fun.
But
we got 3 swear words out of you, which, wow.
Well, technically,
because you are a little constipated potty mouth wise, and we popped a few out of you. Yes, we did.
No, I just didn't. I didn't want to swear for no reason. And the three times I did, it was a wise time to swear.
It was wisely chosen.
Yes. It was appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah. Unlike you guys.
Yes.
I mean, it was like
that I say.
You guys was all over the place. It was just too much at times. But,
I do it gratuitously just so I can drag other people down to the gutter with me.
And you tried very hard with me.
Absolutely no reason. I just so gratuitous.
Yeah, and you dipped your toe in.
Yeah.
I dipped it barely in.
Yeah.
But I did.
And it was sort of hilarious, her trying to be like dainty and her dog like right behind her on camera.
I know. Okay.
The living bejesus out of both of my dog's heads.
Heads.
Yes. Oh my God.
I think she just enjoys trying to jump on them because they're so big compared to her. It's like a little game for her. Okay, all right, whatever. She's a horn dog. What can I say?
All right, thank you. Thank you for admitting that. I appreciate it.
She was adopted. I don't know who her real mother was, so obviously it was.
She has issues.
Yeah, exactly. She's got some issues.
Abandonment issues, That's,
That can only be resolved by another dog's
no
head.
male figures around.
Right,
so,
exactly. No boundaries.
Yeah, right.
She's got some daddy issues. Max and Bert are like, we are not your father. Oh my God, get off my head. Maybe she was raised by a koala.
Exactly. You never know.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, speaking of dogs, May has an awesome organization now called...
I do, and everybody loves it. It's called Broads and Dogs, so it's Broads _N Dogs. And it's a group for people like us, Steph, women who are insanely in love with our dogs.
Yes.
But also we have compassion for animals and causes that help animal welfare, conservation efforts, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, it's a group that can be found on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
Okay. So we will put a link up to it at Stephanie Miller Show Facebook.
Doing it as we speak.
It's great, you guys, because every time you do that, I get new followers and new likes, and people are way into it. I love it.
You know where maybe some of your first funding should go? To getting Governor Rick Scott out of office in Florida.
Oh.
Public enemy #1.
Okay.
Best reason yet to hate Rick Scott. For Florida Governor Rick Scott's campaign photo of a rescued shelter dog. He returned the dog to the shelter after winning the election.
Shut up.
My
Please tell
God.
me.
Yes.
Please tell me that's a
I
lie.
just hate you, and I hate your ass face.
Oh, and he named the dog Reagan. Shortly after winning the Republican nomination in 2010, Rick Scott announced to the world through Facebook that his family had rescued a Labrador Retriever. With help from his Facebook friends, Scott gave it the name Reagan. Oh, in honor of the patron saint of the Republican Party.
Believe
The
story.
Scott family is proud to announce the name chosen by you for their newly adopted pup is Reagan. Thanks to everyone who participated in the fun contest. Read the announcement on his Facebook page. He is no in casa anymore. No one knows what's been going on, and on they finally, who knows?
We don't know where the dog is now.
Yeah, well, maybe Reagan got clumsy, you know.
Oh my! I am posting this
Had a
on
little
Dogs and
accident.
Dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
I will. No,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is terrible. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Get a bunch of women who love dogs pissed off, and you don't know what's gonna happen.
I am not one of his fans, and he has a problem with fans anyway because, did you see?
I am not one of your fans.
Did you see he would not go debate Charlie Crist because Charlie Crist had a little fan at the
podium.
At the podium because it's hot in Florida.
Wait.
And he was throwing a tizzy fit backstage, and he delayed the debate.
fan?
Yes.
Why?
What?
Because the debate rules said no electronics at the podium.
Shut up! And he said the fan was an electronic.
Electronic.
Idiot.
So the debate moderators are there, the audience is there, and the debate moderators are like, well, this is highly unusual, but Governor Scott is... Oh, my God. He is such a
Wow,
wiener.
that's
such
awesome.
a wiener. Oh, wait. In fact, hang on. Oh, I saw this was the latest. Rick Scott defends a debate delay. He was sticking by his decision to delay the gubernatorial debate because his opponent, Charlie Crist, decided to place a small electric fan at the base of his podium. I think he was probably worried about his track record, Scott said. Oh, good one. Again claiming it was actually Crist who initially refused to go on stage over the fan issue. Really? Because he was there right on time and you weren't, so
Right.
That's weird. I think he was sweating and he needed a fan. I'm surprised he didn't ask for dry ice. Oh, my God. Good one, Skeletor.
God, it's amazing how silly it gets.
Yeah.
It's
Reagan.
just silliness.
Reagan,
Yeah.
Reagan, where are you? Come home, boy.
Oh,
Lassie.
that makes me sad.
Lassie, what's that? Reagan fell down the well?
No,
With Timmy?
stop. No.
Yes, I'm sure Reagan went to a farm somewhere where he's very, very happy.
Oh,
And he looks
where he
like
could run
such
free.
a cute dog.
J'accuse Rick Scott.
Reagan looks like Scuba.
I know it.
Yeah.
I
my
know.
old dog.
Your old dog Scuba. I know. Blonde lab. Okay. Let's. That was almost an Igor, but not quite.
No.
Igor?
Igor.
That's what I said when Al Gore sold Current. Okay, let's go to Susan in Richmond, Virginia. You're on with me. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Susan.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call. I'm from Richmond, California. Actually,
Oh, California.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. The chocolate guy. Chocolate is from West Africa.
Right.
It's a real important import, so I might have missed
70% of the world's chocolate comes from West Africa.
exactly.
Yep.
And it's and buy fair trade chocolate, so it's not the stuff that little children who are sucked into slavery
Yeah.
have to sell. But yeah, that's a major export from Africa. Just to let people know. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Thank you, honey. All right. Marion in Kalamazoo. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show with May. Hi, Marion.
Hi. Good morning, Stephanie. Hi, Chris. Hi, May Lee.
Hello.
May Lee, I agree with you. I'm not much of a cusser, but boy, when I do, my kids and my coworkers sure pay attention to me.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
See, that's why you have to keep it in reserve, so that when you do actually curse, people know that
Right.
you mean business.
Our very
Exactly.
first podcast was like a cursing, like colon blow. We
Well,
just
because
had
we got it out of our system.
Woo! Okay. Yeah. All right.
But you guys did go a little over the top yesterday with one particular word.
That was the point. Is it was
Yes.
the one word that you told me not to say.
And you're going to have to get the Happy Hour podcast to find out what that word is.
And find out how I reacted. Yes. Yes.
All right. Go ahead, Marion.
Okay, sorry. My point is I'm just a bit disappointed in that there's no information being given out there, I guess, for people to understand how, just normal common sense to me, because I'm a healthcare worker, to, help your immune system stay healthy, because there are so many people now that have been exposed to patients, including Mr. Duncan's family was around him for days.
Right.
And then Clay Jennings transported him out to that house, and he hasn't got, a lot of people, your immune system can fight this stuff off, and we live in the United States. We don't live in a third world country.
Right. Right.
Where we've got, a lot more sanitation and that sort of stuff. So it just really ticks me off that these companies are, advertising these kits for people and everything else. I mean, it's capitalism at its best.
Yeah. Well, and I had a question. If you're a healthcare worker, Mary, and someone asked yesterday, why was Mr. Duncan's family quarantined and the healthcare workers that took care of him weren't?
Well, I guess that's up to the individual hospital to think of that. The whole thing to me just seems like they just weren't at all prepared. Understandably, because I don't think they expected that, someone would actually go through the healthcare system and that there would be that many mistakes.
Well, it's like what the nurse said on that interview with Matt Lauer. I think it was yesterday on the Today Show, and the nurse from the Texas hospital, she was saying that they were totally not prepared. Yeah. They had no information given to them about how to deal with Ebola at all, no training. Right. So, they're probably thinking, well, we're a hospital, so, these healthcare workers have to continue working to do their thing. But the description of the conditions in the hospital and, how they discarded their robes, they were just in a room. Oh, and then it was like the garbage room.
Right. And that his tests went through the tubing system in the hospital, the regular
pneumatic tube.
Yeah, the pneumatic tubing system. Yeah, shunk, like at the bank.
Right.
Shunk, Ebola poo. Shunk. Ebola poo. Shunk.
Yeah.
Ebola poo?
Kinds of stuff. Any fluid stuff. Stuff. They're testing.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I gravitate to poo, as you know. Yeah. Okay. Is there breaking news?
There is a little bit of breaking news.
Okay.
Yes, Arizona's ban on same-sex couples marriages has been deemed unconstitutional by a federal judge, and the judge refused to grant a stay of his opinion, meaning the decision goes into effect immediately.
Woohoo!
However, the state attorney general, Tom Horn, he's a complete right-wing lunatic. He still has to decide whether to appeal the decision or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just wait here.
Yeah. So that's another state.
All right. Some more. You know what? I blame the homo gays for this story. We should tell May about this, since she is a scuba diver and an ocean person.
Yes, this is true.
Oh, God, what?
Couple in the sea hospitalized after getting stuck together.
Wait, what?
They were
due to suction.
They were doing it.
Due to suction.
They
required
the ocean.
a trip to the emergency room.
Okay. They weren't scuba diving, though,
No.
were they?
No.
I was going to say, I don't know how they would do that. No. Oh, and they got stuck?
Yeah, suction.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
A doctor was called to the beach, but the job was too
That's
tough.
crazy.
Yep, had to go to the emergency room. And, pop that sucker out. Saying, for you seafaring folk.
I will keep that in mind.
All right.
Okay.
Good to know. GTK. Make a note of it.
Yep.
18 minutes after the hour, we roll along with journalist May Lee on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 23 minutes after the hour. Journalist extraordinaire, May Lee, who has lived in Singapore.
Yep.
We should shut this sucker down like they did with bird flu.
Well,
although you can get caned to death for chewing bubble yum in Singapore, so we don't have exactly.
With SARS. It was SARS that, made people go completely crazy, and, everyone was panicking worldwide, right? But it was mostly in Asia. But Singapore, they screwed it up just like everyone else in the very beginning, but they learned so quickly how to deal with this, and they really did a great job controlling it. Yeah. And they were the first country declared SARS-free because of what they did.
Can I ask a question that I hope you will not deem racist? Why do Asian people still wear those face masks? I see them.
I saw one walking down the street yesterday.
Where I hike wear them.
That's a very typical thing you see in Asia. When they're sick, if they have a cold, they're being very polite.
Oh.
They don't want to spread it.
Oh, okay. I thought it was out of fear, but it's out of politeness.
No.
I was wondering if that was
if you see that in Asia.
Because you brought up SARS, I was thinking, is it some sort of SARS?
Well, I mean, those masks really came out in full force during SARS. Everybody wanted to wear that, because it's an airborne virus, right? But if you go to Japan, Korea, other parts of Asia, when you see someone wearing a mask, like in an office or walking around, it's because they're sick. So they don't want to get
that makes sense.
Right.
Okay.
Actually, many Asians that hike they almost look like hazmat suits. I'm not sure what's happening. It's not just that. It's the hat,
the
and the gloves, and the visor.
Oh, that's because
and the face mask.
That's because they don't want to get any sun.
Oh,
yes. Because, in Asia, it's considered beautiful to be like Snow White.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good to know.
Right.
Asian Fun Facts with Mei Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Noted Asian expert, Mei Lee.
What's up with that?
By the way, why does everyone keep calling her by her whole name? You can just say, hi, Mei.
That's what everyone does. Everyone thinks Mei Lee is my first name.
Oh, okay. Mei, and then Lee is her last name, everybody.
Yes.
Okay. Bruce in Sunnybrook, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Bruce.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hello. Go ahead.
Hi. How are you?
Good. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I have an issue with for the president. The Republicans are pressing him to force a travel ban. I think he should say that he would take seriously any legislation that came from the Congress as long as it protected American servicemen and aid personnel, and that they should go ahead and promote a responsible bill, not a hair-on-fire Fox News bill, and that if they could accomplish the appropriate safety for the American public and the workers, that he would sign the bill. It's never going to get passed. They're never coming back to do this bill, so at that point it becomes moot.
Yeah, okay. By the way, I wanted to get your take on a world traveler, Mei Lee.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I used your whole name.
You did.
Okay.
See? You're instigating this.
At least I didn't spell it L-I in that very racist way that I think it was Travis did.
No, it looked like he spelled it wrong, but it's because it was cut off. I forgive him for that, because that was a mistake.
Huh.
It's
okay,
okay, Travis.
Drag him back under the bus.
I know, God.
Poor guy.
Yeah, but so Jake, I was saying, well, it's Leon Panetta or Jay Carney. I get it. Like, you're not going to sell a book unless you say something that, and by the way, Leon Panetta, I'm sorry, it's the exact opposite of what he advised the president on Syria when he was in the administration.
Yeah, Panetta's looking a little ridiculous,
so
and I think
Jay
even
Carney,
the right has recognized that.
So now Jay Carney is, because he's working for CNN, is saying, a flight ban would demonstrate seriousness. It's like, I'm not interested in the president demonstrating. I'm interested in being serious, and if that's what experts recommend,
right.
But they don't right now. So I don't know. Jay Carney said, I think substantive actions have to be taken. They may involve flight restrictions. They may involve moving all patients to specific hospitals in the country that can handle Ebola. Well, they're doing that already now, right? I think that would be wise. Those would be wise decisions to make. I love when somebody starts a sentence, I'm not an expert. Well, then, shut up, yous.
Well, you're not an expert either, and you opine about everything.
Well, that's what talk radio is pulling stuff out of your ass for 3 hours a day. No one expects me to know what the hell I'm talking about.
See, she's admitting it.
That's right,
Steph. Okay. Anyway, so
I think it would demonstrate a level of seriousness and response. Blah 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 blah. Experts, for the record, almost unanimously oppose a flight ban, arguing it would exacerbate the outbreak and foment panic. What do you think, May?
I'm on the fence about this. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
Because in some ways, what they're trying to do right now isn't working, right? And because of the type of disease we're talking about, and it takes so long to incubate, taking people's temperatures at the airport in and out is just it's not going to do much,
right?
So I don't know how else what other measures could they use to try and quell some of this panic and reassure people that it's being taken care of. Flight ban from 4 countries, I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks, well, that's not a bad idea, to be honest. I remember, again, during the SARS crisis in Singapore, people were not allowed to fly into Singapore if they were coming from a SARS-ridden country.
However, there are very, very, very few direct flights from those countries in West Africa.
I don't think there are any direct flights from Liberia.
And so they all
come
come from other places.
Right.
And so so that kind of ban is a little hard to enforce, isn't it?
Possibly, because it's
everything's connecting flight.
I get Dr. Friedman's point too that now at least we can track who's coming in, whereas if they do that, it's going to lead to people perhaps coming in in ways that we can't track them.
Right.
Anyway. All right, 29 minutes after the hour, we roll along with Mei Lee on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it, 34 minutes after the hour. Aw.
I can close the door.
She's all-purpose. She's here, of course, because it's Dirty Horror Friday.
Yep.
And also, she's been relentlessly checking her stocks on her iPhone.
Man, they are on a tear today. Thank God.
Stock market has been volatile this week.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
I've never seen it swing so
Well,
wildly.
it went down, and it was, of course, the black guy's fault, just as the record of highs have been nothing to do with him, as you know, if you're watching podcasts. Hey, anyone paying attention to this? Good news. Non-Ebola, non-ISIS good news. Unemployment benefits applications fall to a 14-year low.
Yes.
Number of people seeking U.S. unemployment aid dropped to the lowest level in 14 years last week, the latest sign of a strengthening labor market. Analysts cheered the unexpectedly strong data. Chief economist described the report as spectacular and astonishing. He said this is a clear signal of real strength in the labor market. Thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I think it's wonderful. Why can't I find a job then? Well, what's up with that?
Maybe it's the people you associate with. All right. I'm sure after the Happy Hour podcast hits the air, that'll be no problem.
Forget it.
Check that out tonight. Find out how at StephanieMiller.com.
Ask me how. Okay. Jay, you're on with May. Hello, Jay and Marin.
Marin County.
Marin.
Hi, hello,
Hi,
good morning.
Hi, hello.
Hi, you do that quite often, Marin. Marinator.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Good job, Steph.
I'm just marinating in my own stupidity. Go ahead.
Hi, and Chris, and good morning, May. Hi, how are you guys?
Good. Go ahead.
Hi, yes, I'm a nurse in Marin, and I just wanted to chime in. One thing I just love your show. You guys do a great job, and you guys have influenced me in very funny ways. And really quickly, the other day, I was running around my house trying to find my cleanest dirty shirt, and doing a smell test. I picked up a shirt, and I heard myself say, "Computer says yes."
Nicely done, sir. All right. There you go.
Computer says yes.
Good.
He had another point.
Oh, all right. Well, I was done.
Sorry, Jay.
He had his real point to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Steph.
Oh, well.
I need to get to important news, and that is that Ben Vereen's son was arrested for shoplifting.
Oh.
After Ben Vereen, the CVS on Amsterdam and West 87th. I've been there.
Oh, yeah, me too.
On the Upper West Side. Our old stomping grounds.
They have something besides Dwayne Reed there in Manhattan?
Right, the CVS.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, you know the Ben Vereen joke out here, right?
What?
How do you get to Malibu? Just go out PCH till you hit Ben Vereen, turn left. He got hit by a car on PCH.
Oh, my God.
He's fine now.
He got hit by Grammy-winning producer David Foster.
Right?
Yes.
What?
You get
that
hit,
I didn't know.
you get run over by a better class of person in Malibu.
He's a real house husband of Beverly Hills.
Right?
I know, and I hear he's not a very nice person.
I've heard he's not a nice person.
Yeah.
What? You run over one actor?
No, not because of
one
that.
dancer, and suddenly you're a bad guy?
I hear he's just an a-hole. Period.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know.
He and Yolanda are perfect together.
Yes, well, her face doesn't move.
No,
so
it
probably
does
can't
not.
Tell what
she's,
my God.
she's a real housewife of Beverly Hills.
Would you both like a saucer of milk?
Well, no. I mean,
no.
she's known for being kind of...
I'm just stating fact. It's not like I watch that show, but I've seen clips of it. Her face is not.
It doesn't.
Double kitty. I'm doing double kitty for you guys, for how catty you both are.
And she had a refrigerator specially built with a glass door, so that she could
saw that
see
one.
everything in the refrigerator before she opened it.
Right.
I love that idea. Kevin in D.C., you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Kev.
Well, good morning, lovely Stephanie.
Yes, hello.
I guess that's why Stephanie always stays my main crush. May is such a beautiful, intelligent, charismatic woman, and then I just heard her gossiping about the housewives
I know. Very, very disappointed.
Man, yes, disappointing.
Oh, Kevin, don't judge me. Do not judge me.
Really get into the fantasy, and then it's like a cold water.
She's well-rounded. She knows the stock market, she knows the news, and she knows the Bravo shows.
That part is all the hot part. Then that housewife thing interfered.
I have to be in tune with some pop culture as well, from an intellectual level.
See, men. Right? They're all over it, and then you say the wrong thing in bed, and they're like, oh, now you ruined it.
One thing, it just blows it.
What is your brand of pop culture, Kevin? What do you like?
Oh, we discussed that at Sexy Liberal. Remember?
Right, Chris, several years ago. Why can't you remember what he said?
Nice enough to answer the pop culture questions for the crew at the Alliance bookstore.
Okay.
Okay. And just refresh our memory.
That was for them, not for the show.
Okay. All right, Kevin, let's get to our main point, shall we?
Yes, the main point is, as usual, I'm thinking about, the ones I can see on the air. Oh,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Oh, right.
I have to dominatrix him back into line sometimes. Go!
I got to give a shout out to Shepard Smith the other day on Fox for saying that everyone, including his own channel, should tamp down on the hysteria and that they don't need the ratings that bad and they should cut that out.
Yeah.
This is not the first time he's done it. I remember him doing something similar during the Katrina issue, and he's putting blame on Bush when they tried to deflect it and so on, the people of his channel. So I'm wondering who he has a file on.
Yeah, he's got a file on.
Yeah.
Why is he not in the dirt hole?
Yeah.
Seriously, why is it not the silence of the chef? Right? It puts the lotion on its arms.
On its skin.
Gives you some hope, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, he must have something on somebody. I don't
Could be.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I can hear him screaming. He's screaming in the dirt hole.
Oh, God.
Dee in Houston, you're on with May. Hello, Dee.
Hi.
Hi.
You guys.
Hi.
You do a great job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I just wanted to say that, the media is controlled mostly by Republican corporations. And
except for Free Speech TV.
Pay attention to these elections.
Yes.
We're going to wake up on November 5th and say, I can't believe these dangerous madmen are in control. First they controlled us by talking about ISIS, everything, ISIS. And then it was Ferguson, Missouri, look at this, what's going on there. Then it was the NFL, the sky is falling, the NFL, now it's Ebola. Our October surprise is a distraction. That's the October surprise. I think we just need to pay attention. These debates that's been going on C-SPAN, they've been unbelievable. With Pat Roberts' chances against this independent Greg Orman, incredible. And Clay Aiken, the lady that he's running against, the Republican, she accused him of being just an entertainer. He didn't know what he was talking about because all of a sudden she flip-flopped on boots on the ground because she said John Boehner was her leader and she had to go with him. And he called her out saying, you should listen to the people, that you're representing, not John Boehner.
Let's not tell any more stories about how closely some women follow John Boehner, shall we?
No.
Let's just leave that lay. May, I'm sorry. Do you have any thoughts? No?
Nope.
Okay. Somebody got to her, Chris. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody in Bonerland.
Okay, let's move on.
Republican-controlled legislatures in several states, speaking of the midterms, have sought to restrict early voting this year, but new polling finds little public support for the controversial measures. Isn't that something? Most Americans say they would prefer their states' programs to either stay the same or be expanded. 60% of Americans say it's a good thing for states to allow early voting, while just 14% say it's a bad thing. I think people see this for what it is. It's a obvious effort to limit the number of Democratic voting the base, anyway. This is so cute. Senator Rand Paul tells Politico that the Republican presidential candidate in 2016 could capture 1/3 or more of the African-American vote. Oh, my God. Wait a minute. Okay. All right. He said if Republicans have a clue and do this and go out and ask every American for their vote, I think we can transform an election in one cycle. Oh, you can ask, and I think they will say.
She says no.
Oh, thank you. John McCain got 4%.
Right.
Mitt Romney got 6%. 6%. Rocketing up the charts there. Wasn't always that our most fascinating statistics out of the Bush years? Because I recall in several polls his African-American support was put at 2%.
Which is
within the margin of error.
Yeah. And so conceivably, there could have been
zero
or less than zero,
Yes.
Sprites,
That's
poltergeists,
right. Plus or
the unborn.
minus 2 or 3%,
Yeah.
right?
Right,
Yeah. Oh,
right,
wow.
right. There could have
Wow.
presumably been a black hole poltergeist hating President Bush. They could have been showing up on sonograms.
Sure.
Don't know yet if the baby's a boy or girl, but we do know that this baby hates George W. Bush.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Statistically, that is hard to do. Just saying.
But he did it. He should be proud of that.
Yes, nicely done, sir. Lois in Shreveport, Louisiana. Hello, Lois.
Hello, Stephen. This is Lois from the dirty South, Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Hi.
Stephanie and Maylee.
Hello.
Maylee.
I just wanted to call and tell you, I'm speaking for the African American. I want to tell those Republicans, they not getting 2/3 of our blank. I'm speaking for us. They can't speak for us. They not getting 2/3 of our blank, whatever you want to put in that blank. And I want y'all to be my friends. Will y'all please be my friends?
We are your friends.
We have been your friends, Lois.
I love y'all, even though y'all causing confusion in my house because I'm going to get no work done.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Listen, plenty of time to work when the show's done, Lois. All right.
Exactly.
Love you back, Lois.
Aww.
Bye.
Hi.
How cute is Lois? I want to hug her and kiss her and squeeze her. All right, 45 minutes after the hour, back with the remaining moments with May Lee. I can't help myself. On the Stephanie Miller Show. Yeah, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. 50 minutes after the hour, 1-800-STEPH-1-2, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Just doing our usual commercial break banter, which mostly consists of giving me about my personal life.
It's so fun, though.
Because it's so messy.
1-800-STEPH-1-2, the phone number. Look at the maniacal laughter from us. Oh, sorry, Steph.
Hello, Stephen. Welcome to the Hot Mess Show. Hello.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, hi.
I just read an article with one of your favorite representatives on Fox News this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Louis Gilmore from Texas went on Fox News to explain that the real war on women is Ebola because of the Obama administration.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, we have that. He said it's part of the Democratic war on women nurses.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just spread fears a little bit more here and explain what the real war on women is. Not restrictions or anything. Ebola.
Yes. Right. Yeah. You can't make this up.
It's a shame that the CDC had Frieden apparently is the new commander of the Democrats' war on women nurses. Because good night, they set them up and then they throw them under the bus when they're
I don't know what
deadly diseases.
That's
Congressman Louis Gohmert of Texas.
That was for real. That's unbelievable.
He's a peach. Is there any chance at all that Geraldo can stop posting shirtless selfies? I don't.
Oh, is he still doing it?
He's still doing it. He did one yesterday.
Why?
And tied it to, what, Ebola? Is that what he did?
No.
Or ISIS?
No, Kobani.
Yeah, ISIS.
What?
I don't know why he needs to have no shirt on.
I don't understand the correlation.
Kobani is the real Benghazi, the besieged fortress where the president really can and must save heroic defenders.
And he attached a shirtless selfie.
Right. That's what the president's doing already, the airstrikes. I don't know what he's doing. But he just felt the need to say, here are my man boobs again. Okay.
He's weird.
He's very weird.
Yeah.
He's weird.
I think he started losing it a while ago, but anyway.
By the way, we have been through your whole trials and travails of choosing your new iPhone, which you finally chose one.
Look at how beautiful.
Oh, it is.
And you got the gold one.
And it's so thin.
Oh.
And I even got a tempered glass, cover for it.
Because as you said, you're so Asian.
Yes, because it has to be perfect.
Were you happy or unhappy about the U2 album? Because Bono has apologized.
Oh, I have very strong feelings about that.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
what
I thought that you did.
Well, I'm a huge U2 fan, so I loved it. Getting a free album?
Yeah, I loved it too.
Who complains about that?
And it's a really good album, too.
It's an awesome album. Who complains about that?
U2 and Bono, there was a Facebook chat, and they apologized because many Apple users got angry. They were force-fed the album because it took up so much memory in their phone.
Okay. You just dump it afterwards. I mean, what's the big deal?
Well, and it also is it can seem like a little bit of an invasion of privacy,
Yeah,
you didn't go out there and buy it. It was
blah.
forced upon you.
Blah, blah.
But it's a great album.
It's not like somebody trying to give you, White Sox
Ebola.
tickets or something. Okay. One fan said, can you please never release an album on iTunes that automatically downloads people's playlists ever again? It's really rude.
Yeah, it's really rude.
Bono said, oops, sorry about that. This is a beautiful idea. We kind of got carried away with it. He apologized.
No, but if you hear the full apology, it's really interesting. It's not really an apology.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. Which is awesome. I love him. So it's just like, yeah, Bono. He kind of apologizes, but then he coats it with saying, that we poured our hearts out into this music. So it's sort of like a slap in the face to the people who are complaining about this.
Yeah, whiners. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. I know this is of utmost importance to you. Is Robin Thicke the newest member of Leonardo DiCaprio's C Posse, as they call it? He very famously has a C Posse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, that's not misogynistic.
Gawker writes, on Friday night, it seems as though Leonardo DiCaprio's C Posse put on their C robes, gathered around their C fire, and inducted a new C member, the newly divorced Robin Thicke.
Oh.
Page 6 reporting he threw himself a divorce party in L.A. on Friday, complete with lots of models,
classy.
lots of models, and also Leonardo DiCaprio, a typical C Posse affair.
This stuff just lovely. It's just wonderful to hear that. Yeah.
He's just irritating. I'm guessing he's as irritating single as he was when he was married.
Probably more so now. Boy. Ugh. Paula, you're lucky you got out of that one.
Someone just tweeted, I'd rather have Ebola than the new U2 album.
Who said that?
Jonathan McDaniel on Twitter.
Whatever, Jonathan.
It is a beautiful day to block that person.
I'm not going to block that
Just kidding. Okay. Neil Patrick Harris, terrified to accept the Oscar gig, but he's hosting the Oscars.
Yes, he is.
Yes. Done the Tonys, right? The Emmys?
Yep.
Oh, he's fabulous.
And now the Oscars.
He's going to be fabulous.
And he is amazing in Gone Girl.
Oh, I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Really? Is he like creepy guy or something in that movie? What is he?
You'll have to see it.
Okay, I don't want to know anything.
There's a secret.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's why we can't say
Okay.
There's a secret halfway through.
Okay, don't say anything.
Don't say anything.
More.
Titanic sinks. Rosebud's asleep. Okay. Speaking of movies, Wonder Woman will hit theaters in 2017.
2017?
Yes. All the DC, DC Comics adaptations, right?
Yep.
Including Justice League, when they'll do that's the Batman versus Superman, Ben Affleck.
Travis is
I don't
geeking out over there.
understand that. I don't understand that Batman and Superman fight. I don't get that. Why do they fight each other?
I don't.
I thought they were on the same team.
Travis, why do they fight each other?
Yeah,
Who
why?
wins? Isn't Superman tougher, I think?
Isn't that bad?
Superman is impervious to things. Batman isn't.
That's right. He's not really a superhero without his stuff, right?
Right.
Kryptonite.
Okay,
That's
thanks,
true.
Travis.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Duh. He said it like duh.
Wow, there was a little bit of a dumb C word.
Yeah,
Kinda
it was. He's like,
tone to his voice.
You guys are dumb.
I'm going to take that right to human resources. Hello, yes, it's me. Hi, Travis is being mean to me. Okay. All right. Okay. John Grisham recently told an interviewer that the law really needs to start distinguishing between real pedophiles and 60-year-old white men who get drunk and download child porn. He said we have prisons now filled with guys my age, 60-year-old white men in prison who've never harmed anybody, would never touch a child, but they got online one night and started surfing around, probably had too much to drink or whatever.
Sounds
I get drunk pretty much every night. I don't think I've accidentally downloaded child porn.
Yeah.
That sounds a little close to home for him.
Yeah. He sounds a little too familiar.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay.
All right.
Glad he...
No, I'm just because we've had this conversation before. Like, does getting drunk make you racist if you're not already racist? You know, people have had all kinds of excuses, right? Mel Gibson or whoever, right?
Oh, saying
Sure.
because
And
you're
I'm
drunk.
just, can you accidentally download child porn when you're drunk?
I don't think so.
That would seem like, that would take some skills.
I think alcohol is kind of a truth serum.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Sadly for
Yeah.
me, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Mei Lee, how might we follow you?
Oh, you can follow me at Mei Lee Asia on Twitter. And Broads and Dogs.
Why are
of
you so
course.
racist? Why do you have to point out that you were Asian?
Because I started my Twitter account when I was in Asia, and Mei Lee was already taken. So, that's why.
This is just an ongoing game we have.
Yeah.
All right.
Go
We love
away.
you,
Well, it's
dirty, dirty whore.
It's like with you, Stephanie Miller was already taken, so you have SM Show, which makes it sound like